So Dana White is talking about making Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili 2 the rematch for the Bantamweight World Championship next. We've also got Alejandro Pantoja versus Kara-France in the works for UFC 316. Interesting main event. I would have match-made things very, very differently, and it annoys me the way the UFC do their matchmaking. It really annoys me, but Pantoja versus Kara-France is being made, and we've also got Juliana Pena versus Kayla Harrison in the works for the co-main event. This UFC 316 card is going to need some help on the main card. Going to need some strong prelims for this one, because with these two headlining the bill, we're giving up on pay-per-view sales, okay? Sad as that is for Pantoja, who's a great fighter. It's just so... We're just giving up on pay-per-view sales here. Either way, Corey Sandhagen versus Davison Figueiredo, May the 3rd, Fight Night main event in Iowa. Everyone's shocked about it being in Iowa, but Trevor Peake leaked this literally a few weeks ago. Either way, we've got Benoit Saint-Denis versus Joel Alvarez. Benoit Saint-Denis, what happened? This is dangerous now. We could be looking at Benoit Saint-Denis going from the favourite against Dustin Poirier to about a year later potentially being on his way to, if he loses, getting cut from the UFC. Crazy turn of events for Benoit Saint-Denis. Either way, let's start straight away with Dana White talking about Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili 2 at bantamweight next. While Kara-France just had to get his title shot against Pantoja, because some people just aren't big enough names to even get the chance at a great legacy. Merab Pantoja's the fight. What don't you get? And if it isn't the fight, we can wait in the meet. Just give me some time. We'll listen to what. It's all right. We'll listen. See what Dana White's got to say.
The bantamweight division, Sean O'Malley looking likely to rematch Merab, right? And we just got the Sandhagen announcement too.
And he's nodding along. Like, I get it. I don't care, give a take, but...
I'm kind of curious how that matchmaking came to be. Was the idea always... Again, I don't think the O'Malley one is official yet, right? But we're leaning towards that.
In the works, O'Malley, Merab 2.
How did we get there with so many different options? I think for Sean O'Malley, we could have done maybe an Aldo possibility. There's, especially with him, so many options. How did the...
How about a Yan rematch for 5 rounds? Which is what everyone wants.
Bantamweight division shake.
They want to fight each other. I think people want to see it.
That stupid smug grin of Dana White. I hate his smug grin. I'm angry at this. I hate his stupid little smug grin when he knows that he can just say, well, I think people want to see it. Dude, we want to see O'Malley versus Yan 2. That's the big fight. O'Malley, Yan 2, 5 rounds. You know what? Put it as the feature fight of this card. I wish this card wasn't a thing anyway. I want to see O'Malley versus Yan 2. That's what I want to see. And there was other matchups at bantamweight I would have liked to have seen for Sean O'Malley as well. I don't understand how. Here's my confusion. First of all, I know the first fight between O'Malley and Merab was close. Merab dominated moments of the fight in rounds 2 and 4. I completely understand. He lost round 5 very clearly. There's no dispute about that. He arguably lost round 3, and round 1's very close. Okay? I was wrong to say how strongly I thought O'Malley won that fight. Don't get me wrong, but it was a very competitive fight. Very, very competitive. So was Umar versus Merab as well. Don't get me wrong, but it was a competitive fight. And O'Malley was a defending champion. He defended against Marlon Vera, took the belt against Aljamain Sterling. I just don't like the treatment. Because it means nothing for Merab to win the rematch, in my opinion. You know what I mean? I feel like we need separation between these rematches when a guy beats someone for the belt and takes the championship off of them, and then because otherwise it just looks like a repeat on their record. You know, I don't like it when it just looks like a repeat on their record. I want to be like, oh, O'Malley's improved, O'Malley's back on track, and then we get the rematch with Merab Dvalishvili, and it means more for Merab to defend. Then he doesn't just go through, you know, Umar and then this name and Yan and then O'Malley and then O'Malley again. And you just chuck in O'Malley again. I don't like just chucking in O'Malley again. You know, I want to have O'Malley fight Yan in a rematch for a title shot, and the winner can fight Merab. Why are we in a rush to book Merab? We are never in a rush as champions in the UFC. I don't know why I'm saying we. Champions in the UFC are never in a rush when there's a log jam of contenders for the title. You see them sit out for a year while there's like 4 different top contenders in the top 5 that have got to figure everything out. And there's an abundance of title defenses for them. The second that there's a chance to look way down the rankings at number 7, or to get a matchup that wouldn't really make sense anyway, they're like all of a sudden need to be active. I just need to get right back in there. I know I just sat out for a year, but I need to get right back in there. Wait! Merab can wait! You could have delayed Merab with Merab versus Pantoja, which is a legacy-defining fight for both. But no, they're not popular enough, Pantoja this is, to get a chance at legacy the same way everyone else is. It's starting to... The thing is I don't understand about this. If they wanted to run it back immediately with O'Malley and Merab, cool. But they didn't. Which means they didn't think it was warranted to run it back. Since Umar lost to Merab, all of a sudden it's warranted to run it back. Like, well done, Merab. You got through Umar. You've earned your rematch with O'Malley. O'Malley Yan 2. 5 rounds. 3-rounder. I'll take a 3-rounder. I'm not pushing for 5. I'll take a 3. O'Malley versus Yan. Because now we're going to have Yan coming off his wins. And don't get me wrong, Yan versus Umar Nurmagomedov is a sick fight. But it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense right now. They should have run the Yan O'Malley fight back. And now we got Yan versus Umar. And Umar wins. He's on a 1-fight win streak again. They'll probably look to give him a title shot. It just feels like we're getting like the Adesanya situation. When I see the title of the ESPN article of this many title fights in a row that he had, I start thinking, well, yeah, he gets all these title fucking rematches. They just get tossed back into title fights. So I'm starting to like look at legacy and records of title bouts and title wins and this. And I'm starting to think, well, was he a star? Because now I need to deduct. I need to deduct from his legacy if he's a star. I needed to see O'Malley beat a contender before we went back into a title shot. And I don't know how Merab beating Umar justifies O'Malley's title shot when it wasn't justified as an immediate rematch before. What's the difference? Well, we didn't want to run back the O'Malley rematch. He hasn't earned it. But since Merab beat Umar, O'Malley's got to get that rematch now. You see what he did? Watching Merab beat Umar? He's got to get it. I don't like it, man. I need removal in careers. Separation between rematches if we can. Listen, if O'Malley was a dominant champ and he defended against Marlon Vera and then defended against someone else and then Merab beat him, we can have a little bit of a different conversation, but one defense, right back in there. I'm going to be amped for it. Don't get me wrong. I just think there's other ways they should have navigated this whole situation that would have been way better for the fans, that we would actually have wanted to see. O'Malley Yan 2. Merab versus Pantoja. And now Kara-France. Oh, you little goblin. It's all good. No offense, Kara-France. Cool dude, I'm sure. He beat Steve Erceg. I get it. He did. He got a big win over Steve Erceg. It was a big win. He's on a 1-fight win streak. Why are we have time to do the super fight between Merab and Pantoja. That's a sick fight. 2 top pound-for-pound fighters. Pantoja, he's not near goated in the division, but he's pushing towards it. He wants it. So he needs to separate himself from a guy like Demetrius Johnson and try out that move to bantamweight. Then you've got Merab, who I think is the bantamweight GOAT, if you look at his resume, compared to anyone in bantamweight history. I know Dominic Cruz beat Uriah Faber 3 times, but come on, guys. Oh, what about the Takeya Mizugaki win? Please. Either way, he did beat Dillashaw, to be fair. Either way, though. Pantoja Kara-France. We could have had Merab. I don't want to keep harping on about it, but we got also Juliana Pena versus Kayla Harrison. This card's going to need some help. This card's going to need a lot of help. It might need the help of an O'Malley versus Merab too. which could be added as the main event. They haven't said that this is the main event of UFC 316 yet, so this could be a triple title fight card maybe. Who knows? But a stupid little smile, man. I just feel like stars need to have their legacy deducted at certain points. You know? Adesanya loses to Pereira, gets the immediate rematch. Fair. Get your immediate rematch. Loses to Strickland. Okay, well, all right, just sit out while we have Duplessis Strickland. Right back into a title fight, Adesanya. It just feels like we're just chucking stars into opportunities. And now Yan's going to have to go, you know, this was the time. O'Malley-Yan is one of the biggest fights you can make. That rematch is massive for the UFC fans. So was the chance of Pantoja-Merab, and we just don't get them done because fucking Kara-France needed his shot and O'Malley needed an immediate rematch. Because of all that hard work Merab did against Umar that earned O'Malley his immediate rematch. He's done nothing. He just sat out while Merab defended, and now he's back. Move on. Corey Sandhagen, Davison Figueiredo. Listen, I know O'Malley Merab was close, and I'm interested in a rematch, and I think it would be intriguing, and there could be a finish, but man, I feel like the UFC ain't making right decisions. Even this, Sandhagen versus Figueiredo, I wouldn't have done it. The pathway was simple as this, Dana White. And please put me as matchmaker, I beg of you. Merab Pantoja, Yan O'Malley 2, Sandhagen Aldo, Figueiredo versus Umar. Capiche? That was it. That was all you needed to do. The perfect matchmaking. Done. Fuck Mario Batista. Who cares? He doesn't exist at bantamweight in my eyes. Fuck him. I do not care about him. Matchmake the rest. But this is good. I like Sandhagen versus Davison Figueiredo. I might go Davison Figueiredo here, you know. Corey Sandhagen's good. He's very good. Very technical fighter. Very, very talented. I could see Figueiredo getting this. He's a strong, powerful dude. He looked great against Peter Yan recently. And to be honest with you, Sandhagen just doesn't seem to have that sting on his shots. And Figueiredo does have that up at bantamweight. And to be honest, Marlon Vera did make the last 3 rounds against Corey Sandhagen pretty close. I know it was how could you ever give the scorecard to Marlon Vera? But I'm telling you, go back and watch the last 3 rounds of the Marlon Vera versus Corey Sandhagen fight, where it took place on the feet. I don't know if Sandhagen can cruise out 2 easy rounds. Not cruise out. I'm not trying to make it like Dominic Cruz comparison. I don't know if he can I wanted to say cruise control. I don't know if he can just sort of bank 2 rounds grappling Figueiredo to the ground the way he did against Marlon Vera. I think Figgy can get this one. I used to worry about 5-round Figueiredo cardio. I don't worry about 5-rounders with Figueiredo anymore. I really don't. I think this is a sick matchup. If it's a 3-rounder, I like Figueiredo's chances even more. Yeah, I'm not falling for the stance switches and I read Sun Tzu and have a diary about violence compared to I actually throw down with heat like I'm trying to take someone's head off. I rate Figueiredo here in this matchup, and I think it's a very solid chance that he pulls this one off. So I'm actually leaning towards Figgy here. I've underrated him for far too long, but I really wanted to see. We could have had Aldo Umar. You know? We still can have Aldo Umar, but I know we're going to get Yan Umar, which is also great as well, but I just feel like we're not doing the right matchups, man. It's all good. Sandhagen, Figueiredo, sick fight. At least we're getting matchups made and we're getting them done. That's all we can hope for. The sooner the better getting these fights done, but stupid fucking grin on that. I don't like. We have to deduct legacy from stars. Simple as that. Feels like the only guys that actually have an opportunity and are deserving to get a double champ status are the only ones that aren't able to do it and aren't even given the opportunity to do it. Pantoja's probably the most deserving guy at a double champion chance right now. He's the only one that's not hammering home calling for it. It should be made. That would have been a sick generational fight. As much as people don't rate it as highly because, Pantoja's kind of in the shadow of Demetrius Johnson and Merab, I think Merab's sort of broke out into his own now. People understand how good Merab really is. That was the time to make that goated champ-on-champ fight. But no, Kara-France just had to get his title shot, you know? Even at Flyweight, the matchmaking, someone was talking to me about this earlier. It just doesn't seem to make no fucking sense. Urseg's getting Moreno, while Cap is fighting Almabayev. Cap lost his matchup with Royval. Why not do Cap versus Moreno? Urseg's on a 2-fight losing streak. No offense to Urseg, but he was like number 7 when he fought for the belt. Lost a very close decision, don't get me wrong. Lost by KO. Now he's fighting a number 1 contender, Brandon Moreno, or a number 1 contender. While Manel Cap is getting like Asu Almabayev put in on short notice. Who the fuck are the matchmakers? It's all good. Maybe people are saying no to matchups. Maybe people are saying no to matchups. I've seen this. We've seen him beat Kara-France. It's all good, though. This is also on there. Pena Harrison. I guess this we can talk about, but yeah, this is a fight. I reckon Kayla Harrison's going to chuck this woman around and beat her. I reckon that's most likely what's going to happen here. It could get interesting. Listen, Juliana Pena is gritty and she does cardio, so maybe there's some like live odds to be bet if you notice Pennington, or not Pennington, same thing really. Harrison not being able to get her takedowns, maybe you would bet some live odds on Pena, and maybe in the later rounds she can break Harrison as the fight goes on and all of that. But then we've also got this, Benoit Saint-Denis versus Joel Alvarez. I've got Joel Alvarez winning this fight. I've got Joel Alvarez winning this fight, to be honest with you. I love this one. I would have done, if I was Benoit Saint-Denis' manager, I wouldn't have done this fight, though, at all. I think Grant Dawson's not a bad matchup for him. I think there's a lot of good matchups just outside the rankings for him that are coming off a loss. This is very, very risky for him. Joel Alvarez is a huge physically imposing threat in the lightweight division with a great chin. He's only really ever been exposed with like constant onslaught of like non-stop takedown volume. That's the only real time I've seen him exposed other than like way earlier on in his career before this like secondary run. He fought Arman, he got taken down, he got elbowed early and a cut opened up right in his eye and he just got absolutely destroyed by Arman Sarukian. But other than that, Joel Alvarez is an absolute monster. And again, this comment said it right here. I actually said this at the start of the video. Benoit Saint-Denis went from a win away and fighting for the title. No, here we go. Benoit Saint-Denis went from a heavy favorite over Poirier to falling off the rankings in a span of a year. To be fair, he was never really in the rankings in the first place. He barely got there in the first place, but this would be a fall from grace. I think Joel Alvarez is going to finish him. I think he's going to finish Benoit Saint-Denis. I know why they're doing it in Canada, French-speaking, Benoit Saint-Denis. It makes sense. I get it. I get the matchup. Respect to Benoit. This is a... If he loses, he will lose in such a way that it will increase his chances of losing the next one. There's certain matchups that are like that, right? Where, I see some guy lose to someone and I think, well, you can always have a chance in the next one. There's certain fighters, and Joel Alvarez is one of them, with his level of finishing potential and his finishing rate in general, which I think is something like 90-something% out of all the fights that he's had. And he's had a lot of fights. I think this is one of the ones where if Benoit loses, it affects his ability to get the win in the next one. And no matter who it's against. This is going to be a finish, I think, for Joel Alvarez. And Benoit's coming off the damage that he took against Renato Moicano. And before that, he got TKO'd against Poirier. You'd think Benoit would be looking at a guy coming off a loss along with him, Like, I'd be looking through the rankings and be thinking, okay, who else is coming off losses right now? Or I'd look outside the rankings and I'd consider who might be coming off losses. And maybe I can get a Benoit Saint-Denis Dober matchup. You know what I mean? And just move Benoit Saint-Denis into number 16. So it's not Dober getting a ranked opponent, But hey, this is how the sport works. Ruthless. They're literally having Benoit Saint-Denis sink or swim right back into the deep end with Joel Alvarez. Looking forward to it. Big fight. I just disagree with this. I felt like we were all on the same page, and it annoys me when Dana says this. Like anyone's been demanding the fucking rematch. They want to fight each other, and I think people want to see it. No one's been calling for that, man. It's all good. And Bivol won as well. Shout out to Bivol. See you later. Goodbye. Like and subscribe. Just wanted to get that out of my system, man. I feel like we're doing the matchups all wrong. We're doing the matchups all wrong. We're giving people title elimination bout. Or not title elimination. We're giving people title rematches if they're a star enough. I know the first fight was very close. And to be honest with you, that is a selling point, but I think it just detriments Merab's legacy. You know? Even though if O'Malley beats Yan in a rematch and they end up doing the Merab versus O'Malley matchup anyway, after that, I still want to have separation sometimes between these because it just becomes squared. You know? It don't look as good. You know, you got 1, 2, 3, I'm burping. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 different numbers representing 4 different legacy bouts that a champion has got. It feels like when we do these immediate rematches, when they're not entirely like earned, and a lesser name would be forced to earn it a lot more than O'Malley is right now. It feels like what they end up doing is if we got 1, 2, 3, 4, these 4 different numbers, they're all legacy matchups. O'Malley's number 3. 1, 2, 3, and then squared. It just feels like they're just 3 squared and then 4. It doesn't feel like its own extra thing when you just run it back like that. You know? But either way, I digress. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Yeah. Goodbye. See you later. I've got some interviews coming as well, so we'll do that. Bryce Mitchell is following me on Instagram, so, you know. It's fishing season, boys. Like and subscribe. See you later. Can you imagine? Someone put this idea out there. Imagine I get a Paulo Costa, Bryce Mitchell at the same time. We'll see. Goodbye.